Okay. It's a weird chair. I think it's one of those ones, if you just, the more you do it, the worse it'll get.
Hi, I'm Emma. I work in the policymaking team.
Hi, I'm Megan and I work on the devolution team.
Hi, I'm Martha and I work for the public finances team at the IfG.
Hi, I'm Dan. I work in the civil service and public bodies teams.
Hi, my name's Megan. I work on the ministers team.
Hi, I'm Maria and I work on the public services team.
I work in the policymaking team and we look at improving how government designs and implements policies. We have several series going on at the moment and that we've worked on in the past. So we currently have a series looking at left behind cohorts, particularly how government can improve policymaking for children left behind in their earliest years in education. We also have a series looking at rapid policymaking. We have series looking at manifesto commitments and how government is performing against those commitments. And we're also looking at developing toolkits for civil servants to use in policymaking in government.
On the devolution team, we work on devolution to the nation, so in Wales, Scotland, Northern Ireland, and then also devolution to the regions and local government reorganisation. So it's a really exciting time on the team. We've got elections coming up in Wales, Scotland, and local elections in May. So we've been doing a lot of work on that. And also the government's bringing through a new English devolution bill. So a lot of our focus has been on that this year too.
So my team works in public finances, as I mentioned, so it looks at the government's spending and tax priorities, follows important fiscal events like the budget, and we also provide economic commentary to other teams because we have a number of economists in our team, but not me.
I'm kind of in a unique position working across both teams. The civil service team, obviously they look at the civil service, how to make it more effective. They look at issues of civil service reform, so that might be high turnover or the overall size of the civil service, how the grade structure of the civil service changes over time. Questions about what it is that civil servants actually do and how they can do their jobs better and more effectively and how that ties in with the goals of the government of the time. Public bodies, we're looking at issues of public body reform. So a topical example would be NHS England and its abolition and how that was handled, how to set up and abolish public bodies, when are public bodies the right way to carry out a government function or not. So yeah, they're contrasting, but there is overlap, and it's quite nice to be able to work across both teams and learn from one and apply it to the other.
So we look at how public services are performing. So for example, we have an annual report that we produce called Performance Tracker, and we look at 9 different public services and how they've performed over the year. And then throughout the year, we also do other stuff. So for example, right now I'm working on a youth justice project, and we have different people on the team who work on different areas.
We look at the role of ministers in government. I'd say it's a really fun team to work on. It's very reactive to political developments. So we look at whenever a minister is appointed or reshuffled, when there's a ministerial resignation, our team does a lot of the commentary around that, some analysis. We tend to run live blogs when there's a reshuffle, which is a lot of fun. We also look at the ethical standards landscape in government, and we look at sort of what happens when a minister breaks a ministerial code and the consequences of that. So that's really interesting. And we also work closely with the IfG Academy, which is a branch within the IfG, and they provide training and support for people within and outside government about understanding how government works more broadly. So that's a nice blend of different things, I think, to get involved in.
So before I applied, I was actually studying. I was in my final year of my undergraduate degree. I studied politics and international relations, and then I knew I wanted to do something that was related to that, so I came straight to the IfG.
I was studying history at university, and I graduated the summer before I joined here, so straight out of university. But I did some work experiences and some internships before, worked in the civil service over a summer, so that gave me a good, made me realise that I was really interested in government and policy making, which is what drew me to the IfG, and here I am.
So before I applied, I was working for a small education startup, so helping them to build some of their digital products for students doing their GCSEs.
I was in my final year at university studying international relations.
I was actually working in finance. I was working for an investment bank. So obviously the nature of the work was very different there, but in some ways there are similarities. So I was doing a lot of report writing, interviewing, important stakeholders. So there was some overlap, but overall quite different.
I was in my final year of undergrad, working part-time in a pub, but I had actually spent some time at the IfG previously on a short internship through university, which is how I found out about this role, and that's kind of what inspired me to apply.
I've been very involved in the Ministers Reflect project that we have on the Ministers team. So that's like an archive set of interviews that we do with former ministers. I think we've got over 170 of them now, which is a good collection. And we ask them about their time in government for their reflections, things that they found frustrating, their proudest achievements. And I think I really enjoyed being involved in conducting some of those interviews, but also the prep work that goes in before and after them to analyse them as well. And I think I've really enjoyed it because it gives you a sort of, some interesting anecdotes and the human side to ministers that you don't necessarily get to see in politics on the TV.
So probably performance tracker, as I already mentioned, is quite an important piece both for my team and for the IfG on the whole. And also youth justice that I've been working on at the moment.
One of the biggest projects that the civil service team carry out every year is called Whitehall Monitor. It's a sort of a data-driven analysis of how the civil service performed over that whole year. As soon as I joined, I was kind of thrown into that as one of the first big things that I was working on. So it was really nice to have that opportunity to lead a couple of chapters myself. People in the civil service, in government, journalists, academics will look to this as their key resource to, as a reference document, I suppose, to find things out about the way that the civil service has been performing. So in that sense, it's kind of quite impactful.
A recent project that we worked on was the Devo Lab project, which is looking at some of the policy innovations enabled by devolution. So we recently published a report on transport policy and how mayors can improve connectivity in their regions. So this is a really great project to work on, and it's been quite exciting in terms of how important transport is for connecting people, for the economy, and also for mayors getting this right for the wider devolution agenda as well.
Our current project is looking at early years series. It's not particularly conceptual or ethereal, but very grounded in the lived experiences of children and families in this country. And we're looking at how government can improve policymaking for groups that are underserved or left behind by typical policymaking processes. And I'm really proud of the influence that we've had over government and also the real tangible influence that we're having on the lives of children and families in this country.
I'm currently working on a report looking at how the government could reform the way it does employment support and welfare for those who are out of work due to ill health, which of course is such a topical subject at the moment, and it's clearly really important to the government. So it's really interesting and cool that I'm able to work on something looking at how to make it better. And I've also had quite a significant role in the project from early on, so I've been able to do a lot of the report writing myself, which is really exciting. So working for the IfG has really exposed me to how many interesting roles there are in the world of public policy and government. I think I previously had quite a narrow understanding, but it's really made me realize how many varieties of niches you can work in public policy, how many think tanks there are, and I'd be, I think, very interested in working for quite a number of those.
So I kind of always knew I wanted to work in the research and policy sector, but wasn't sure quite which direction to go in. So I think coming here, getting a really good understanding of how the think tank sector works, how that operates with Westminster, and what some of those career paths are, has been really valuable going forward.
All the skills that I'm learning are super relevant across the public sector, but also the private sector. So learning things like data analysis, data visualization, writing clearly and concisely, teamwork, etc. All of these skills are going to be super useful. So even though I'm not exactly sure what it is that I want to do, I think that the internship will equip me really well for whatever it is that I do end up going on to.
The internship's a really good springboard for anything you want to do with it. Basically, it gives you loads of skills, a whole host of things that you can use it for. Be that, whether you want to take it into the civil service because it gives you good grounding of how government works. You could do that. You could take it into politics itself if you wanted to do that. It gives you, a good knowledge of how the system works, but also, really good research skills and data analysis skills, which you could take into political monitoring or the think tank sector more broadly if you wanted to. So I think I would say it's a really good opportunity, and it definitely opens a lot of doors for you afterwards.
I think this internship is a great opportunity for everyone. It really opens you up to a lot of different people and situations. I think the connections that you make during the internship will set you up no matter what you decide to do. I'm not sure yet exactly what I want to do, but I know that whatever I do decide to do, I'll be in a good position to do it with all the skills that I've learned here and all the people that I've met.
I formed really strong networks here with people from all sorts of different backgrounds and experiences and at different stages in their career. So I have a really wonderful network of supportive colleagues to draw on whatever kind of career I want to go into.
My advice would be to just go for it, I think. Don't overthink it. The application can seem quite daunting, and I remember looking at it and it's got lots of steps. There's the test, there's the written answers, there's interviews. I think don't let that put you off. Take the application one stage at a time, and if it is genuinely something that you're passionate about, then that should come across in your application.
Of course, I definitely recommend it. I'm very, very happy I applied. I'm very grateful for it. And as to the application itself, I'd say it's a really good way to genuinely reflect on why you're genuinely interested in it. I wouldn't try and sort of try and give an answer that you think is the appropriate answer. And then also, I'd also think quite a lot about the nature of the IfG and why it's different to other think tanks, because it is quite different insofar as it looks at how government works and how effective government is, rather than looking at specific policies, which makes it quite different to a lot of think tanks. So I'd think about that when you're applying as well.
My biggest advice would just be to apply, whatever background you're from. If it's something that you're interested in, it's definitely worth applying for. There's people with loads of different qualifications and backgrounds here. And if you are really keen on it, have a look at some of our reports, maybe watch some of our events online, get a sense of what the IfG does, because it's a really great place to work.
I would say don't be intimidated by it and don't be scared. If you are interested in anything that the IfG does, I would say it's worth giving it a shot. And don't think that you're not going to get the position just because a lot of people apply. I didn't think I was going to be here, and here I am. So definitely apply if you're considering it.
The best advice, I think, would be to read around some IfG work. If there's a topic that's really of interest to you, I think have a look at our back catalogue of research, some of the reports or insight papers or commentary that we've done on it. I think that would really help to get a sense of what the IfG does and the perspective that we come at things with. So the mission is to make government more effective. That's what we focus on at the IfG. So I think the more that you can read around and understand that tone and the point of view that we come at things with would really benefit you in the application process. I think the more that you can immerse yourself in what the IfG does, the better off you'd be in the application process.
Think about your background and your story and your experiences, and don't be afraid to make it personal, and how everything that you've done in the past makes you the right fit for the research internship, but also makes the IfG the right organisation for you. And also, there are a lot of applicants, so you just have to be confident and back yourself, because you're never going to get a job that you don't apply for, and someone has to get it. So why not you?